Dr. Ghulam Nabi meets from USA, the president of World Kashmir Awareness Forum. Dr. Ghulam Nabi Meer.
Thank you, Brother Yahya. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak. I'd like to thank Tehreek-e-Kashmir leadership, Brother Fahim Sheikh, Muhammad Ghalib, and Ansar Manzoor for organizing this conference. Thanks to my co-panelists, and special thanks to Senator Mushahid Hussain Said and our new friend in this struggle, Mejbel Alshrika from Kuwait. And thanks to other speakers also. I hope and pray you are all well and your families are well. As we all know, COVID-19 has struck with fury. It has devastated all communities, particularly the vulnerable ones, people of color and of occupation. The people who have been disenfranchised, like us in Kashmir, and who have been dispossessed of our property, which is in active process right now by Indian forces. The occupied Kashmir has had a particularly devastating physical, psychological, and economic impact on our people, which many of you have already expressed. The 72 years of forcible Indian occupation has sucked Kashmir's substantial natural resources without any payback or compensation for the exploits it has gained for all these 72 years. India has stymied Kashmir's economic development with the zero industrial development in Kashmir. Occupied Kashmir, as you know, is the most militarized zone in the world. 800,000 men and paramilitary, military and paramilitary forces. On top of this, the government of India brought around another 250,000 in Hindu militias into Kashmir between August 5 and August 4 and 5 actually. These people were voluntary Hindu radicals of RSS, to which Prime Minister Modi belongs to. That's his mother organization. And these RSS young people are Mr. Modi's buddies. Thousands of Kashmiri political leaders and activists remain locked in jails across India. They're activists, political and human rights, they're journalists, they're writers, and they are religious leaders. Those prisons put a particular stress on our community. Many of these prisons, including the Tihar jail, are infested and infected by coronavirus. The rest of us in Kashmir, 8 million of them, remain locked in the vast open prison of the Vale of Kashmir. The residents of the heaven on earth remain locked down, unable to enjoy the beauty of the heaven, surrounded by the Gog and Magog, that's India and its forces. The Vale is a vast open prison, hidden behind the majestic Himalayas and Pir Panjal mountains, peppered with a network of torture cells like Papa One, which has now been closed, and mass graves. The world knows it, but is feigning ignorance, reminiscent of the willful ignorance of the Nazi era. Will it take another nuclear cataclysm? Will it take a nuclear cataclysm between two neighbors, which might engulf the whole world? An ongoing step-by-step genocide is in progress. Make no mistake about it. You can call it ethnic cleansing, or you can call it demographic engineering to make Kashmir into a Hindu state. Call it whatever you will. But the inescapable conclusion has to be that COVID cover in Kashmir is bringing Kashmir a step closer to the last phase of genocide. Indians did not do it Indians have done it before. They did it to Dravidians in the Vedic era. They did it to Buddhists. They are doing it to Indian Muslims, and they are doing it to Kashmiris, and they are capable of doing it. We see the writing on wall as Kashmiris, whether the world sees it or not, and whether Pakistan wishes it or not, whether Arab Muslim countries support it or not, Pakistan will get pulled into to yet another military conflict, and its outcome is unknown. It won't be a pretty scene though. Jammu Kashmir remains divided into Azad Kashmir and Maqbuza Kashmir, or occupied Kashmir, for 7 decades. It is choking Kashmir and needs to be torn. This wall needs to be torn down. It has been our Berlin Wall, and there's no reason we should tolerate it. And I don't think the Kashmiri youth are going to tolerate it. With the COVID tragedy, it's bringing occupied Kashmir to the brink of starvation with borders closed. Yes, we can trade with India, of course, at least in good weather, but most of our arteries join Azad Kashmir, and through that with Pakistan also. We cannot do without trading with our neighbors. I'm not talking of a political arrangement. People of Kashmir can decide that by exercising the UN assured right of self-determination. On August 5, life in Kashmir came to a standstill. Now with the COVID pandemic, the Hindutva government has left no wiggle room for Kashmiris. People cannot speak. I just saw the news that a 25-year-old Merajuddin, who was driving his uncle, who is a police officer, in the car, and he was shot point blank and killed. There are protests going on with our sisters out in large numbers as we speak. This is a tragedy that is hitting day after day after day. India has weaponized COVID. What can we do under these circumstances? We'd like to have OIC intervene, and they must give a public condemnation of Indian atrocities in Kashmir and using COVID as the cover. Kashmiris are unable to leave their homes. They are beaten on the road when they come out, and many of them are put in cow sheds. I know one of those cow shed areas in Samba in the Jammu province, where people were put in quarantine, a mother and a son. We also would like to ask our Arab brothers, please, please do not be the patrons of this Hindutva government or Indian governments to provide them resources. Please disinvest. $75 billion given only last year to an Indian businessman who is friends with the Prime Minister to develop R&R facilities in Kashmir, gave a necessary transfusion to Mukesh Ambani's business that is failing. So all that money is lost. We'd like to also ask the world community to stand with the mothers of those who have disappeared, have been killed, or have been tortured. They are people of all walks of life. They are writers, journalists, social activists, human rights activists, political activists, and of course, those who fight for the liberation of their nation. We, in the outside community, the international community, have to speak up for the Kashmiris whose voices are silenced. They want to express, but the world won't be able to hear them. We should speak for them. We should ask the world community to allow Kashmiris to have the right of expression, right of assembly, and their rights, fundamental rights, both human rights and the fundamental rights of political freedom and self-determination. If one party is able to allow Kashmiris to express themselves and freely travel the world wherever they want to go, why cannot India do the same? Those other people, those who listen to Indian propaganda, that India and Pakistan are equivalent in their treatment of Kashmiris, are missing the point and trying to deceive the opinion of the world. India is the arch enemy of our existence. So I think we should stop equating the two. We know who our enemies are, enemies of our freedom of expression. And they don't hate us only because we are Muslims. India has a problem fundamentally of discrimination, racism, and Hindu supremacism. I think that should be the basic fundamental understanding we have to create so that we can address this issue. In Kashmir, there are lots of prisons and people are still held there. Some people are taken for quarantine in prison cells. They shoot unarmed civilians. They must stop that activity. The solutions are there if the world can push India to listen. Release the political prisoners, including those in the Tihar jail. Remove the armed forces from our neighborhoods where they are lurking and snooping around. Stop harassing our people. Let people self-isolate in their own homes. Don't take them to prison cells. Provide adequate PPE to our healthcare workers and first line workers. Let essential services resume in unhindered manner. There is a growing food shortage now after 10 months of lockdowns. Do not put people under curfew 24/7. Allow international human rights groups and particularly at this time, relief agencies come in so they can distribute relief. Remove the security that has been put around Sayyid Gilani, the leader of the Kashmir freedom movement, and release ailing political leaders, Muhammad Yasin Malik and Mia Abdul Qayyum, the president of the Kashmir Bar Association. They have done no evil. They have been the leaders of Kashmiri freedom movement for a peaceful resistance in the last many years. And we would hope that India is not allowed to use this cover of COVID anymore. I'd like to thank all the panelists and those who have spoken and those who are yet to speak. And I would like to listen to their ideas. Thank you very much. God bless. Allah Hafiz.